Different's great, but being different for the sake of being different, I'm not a big fan of, right? If you just want to be different for the sake of
technology increased, I would hide behind it.
And you start to hear some of their challenges, and yes,
because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives you. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Master Connector Show. I'm your co-host, Rob Genovese, and I hope you're tuning in today, not for the first time, but maybe for the multiple time. In fact, we want you to bookmark your calendar because we're coming at you every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, bringing you amazing guests that are going to help you level up whatever it is you're doing. You know, my co-host, Steve Spiro, he brings in amazing people who are from different industries, different walks of life, varying accomplishment levels, but all accomplished in their own field. They're going to bring their stories, their experiences, their skill set, and they're going to give it to you to help you, because that's what we're all about here in the Master Connector Show. It's helping you create community. We want you to be able to build those connections. You're going to be able to meet some of our guests. You're going to be able to connect with them on LinkedIn, because that's the whole deal. And listen, if you want to know who's coming up on the Master Connector Show, we want you to go to the website, masterconnector.show. You know, go to it right now and bookmark that tab, because you're going to get to see who's coming up down the line. Maybe there's somebody in particular that you want to hear from, that you want to interact with, that you want to ask a question of. You can do that here on our show. And you want to be able to put that in your calendar and tune in, because we are coming at you live every single Wednesday. Listen, today we have an amazing guest. Of course, we always bring you great people, but I'm actually really intrigued by this topic. Today's show is about 4.5 networking mistakes. And you know, when Steve booked this, I thought, well, I've been in networking, not for a long time, but very intense for about 6 years, meeting all kinds of great people, figuring out this networking thing, learning how to do it in a very normal way, because I was not a normal person. It was very awkward. Can you feel me? It was very awkward. You know, Steve and I, we've been together, friends for 26 years, 2 former shy guys, 2 introverts, navigating business, navigating network, you know, learning how to truly connect with people, build relationships, and creating community and connectivity. And look, if we can do it, anybody can do it, because I'm going to tell you, sometimes I wish we could have snapshots, some videos of us from those early days. We probably wouldn't have done it because it would have been too scary to watch. We've overcome a lot of stuff, and we're here to help you do that as well, because we're no longer shy guys. We're still introverts. It's an energy thing. But listen, help me bring him on, the Master Connector, Mr. Steve Spiro. What's up, Steve?
What's up, Robbie G? Yeah, we were definitely not normal. In fact, I've heard we were abnormal, awkward. I could just say I was awkward around all that stuff, right? Human interaction, but it's just what a journey we've been on. But anyway, what's going on, friends? Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct. And I'm excited. So listen, if you're watching us for the first time, or you've been on the show, you know we believe in LinkedIn participants, not LinkedIn lurkers. So get in the comments, connect with us. Make sure you tell us what city, what state, where you're tuning in from. And, you know, also it's a good opportunity to connect with each other, right? And you can make some new connections here on the show. But we don't know if you're watching us unless you're in the comments. So we'd love to see you do there. You also put comments or questions specifically for our amazing guests. So get in there. Let's participate, right? But anyway, I want to talk to you about this, right? This is cool. Networking. Listen, shy guy, introvert. I mean, I was the last guy I would rather sit in front of a TV and talk to nobody than be out there. But I was challenged by a mentor years ago. He said, meet 3 strangers every day. And he also suggested maybe get into some networking events. And then I started the journey on LinkedIn maybe around 2008 and started amassing a big network. And this has been a crazy journey and lots of awkward moments along the way. But ultimately, I've learned that networking is one of the most powerful tools you could actually think about or have in your life, for your business, for your life. You know, I was in the thick of COVID, especially in the Northeast. We were all shut down. I felt the most connected ever because of networking. And I had some online communities I was networking with. This was pretty amazing. And And I love speaking about this on stage, about the fact that you can, grow yourself. And by the way, for me as an introvert, this has been a great, amazing growth process by doing it, right? But I've learned some things along the way that you got to lead with value, right? One of the core pillars of our show is being others focused and not looking to, ditch the pitch, forget the pitching, right? No more pitch slapping. That's with a P, guys, not with a B, right? But we want to, it's how can I help you? How can I serve you, right? At the end of every call, how can I be a blessing to you is what I always say to people, right? But the other thing that I found through networking is being curious and being authentic, right? I've heard it said like this: don't look to be interesting, be interested. Learn about them. And if you are speaking about yourself, be authentic, right? I find, big thing I speak about on stage a lot is breaking barriers to create real human connection. And how you do that is through being authentic. It just, when you tell people some of those vulnerability things about yourself or authenticity, it really breaks barriers. But ultimately, it's about giving, not taking, right? And you'll find that if you really embrace networking, and we're going to learn the 4.5 mistakes, right, for networking. But if you embrace networking, you're going to see that doors are open, and you're going to create life-changing opportunities. It's happened to me. I've had created incredible relationships through networking, whether it be in person or digitally remote, whatever. But you got to take it off the platform. And the secret is in the follow-up. And we're going to learn a lot more about that and some great tricks and tips and so forth. But if you're ready for my man, Mr. Robbie G, my co-host, to introduce our incredible guest, type in "Let's go" in the comments. And Robbie G, I'll turn it to you, sir.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Listen, we're going to kick right off. Tiffany Kellog entered the entrepreneurial world in 2003, and since then has enjoyed being able to help her clients make money, save time, and have fun, which, by the way, is one of my core values. You got to have fun. Why not? Since then, Tiffany has spent her time traveling across the globe, helping thousands of entrepreneurs create amazing businesses and have spectacular lives through keynote presentations, workshops, online programs, and more. Tiffany's the author of several books, including 4.5 Networking Mistakes. Maximize your networking efforts by avoiding common mistakes. Let's get right into it. Please welcome to the show, Tiffany Kellog. What's up, Tiffany?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me here this afternoon.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So blessed to have you on with us here. But I want to just comment. Hey, Candace, great to have you back on the show again. And Rhonda, good seeing you here. New friend Rhonda is the new networking friend. Speaking of networking, Yolanda, the amazing Yolanda. Yolanda, we need to have you on the show here because you're just so incredible. Just appreciate that you're on here every week. And Candace says, "Let's go," and Yolanda's saying, "Let's go" as well. So let's go. Let's get into it, right? Let's just dig right in here. We got some amazing topics and questions to dig on. So obviously, this topic is about today's show is about networking. So I spoke a lot about that in the opening, monologue, if you will, right? So let's talk about networking. So community, type in #networking. And so here's the question for you, Tiffany.
All right.
Why is networking such a crucial element for success in business and in life?
So I think that networking is an attractive way for many people to grow your business. And if we simplify it, there's really only 4 ways that you can grow your business. Advertising, which most entrepreneurs don't have a very robust, if any, advertising budget. There's PR, which you can do a little bit, but it takes some hard work to make that happen. There's cold calling, which is what I did for my first 2 years in business because I didn't know any better. And then there's networking and referral marketing. And to me, going networking is the opportunity to meet potential long-term referral sources that we can develop that relationship with, to pass each other referrals all day, every day. And sometimes people think networking, let me meet hundreds or thousands or lots and lots of people. To me, I go networking to find who are the 4, 6, or 8 people that can pass me business all day, every day. And that makes it easy to have that pipeline come into our business. And I think that's why people love the idea of networking, is it can be such an amazing way to create success in filling our pipeline.
Love that. It's funny because I read a book recently, and you seem like you're outgoing. I don't think you're an introvert. I
I am
tell.
hardcore.
Oh yeah.
I've
Okay.
got
Well, then
test
you've
results.
got us fooled. Yes. All right. Well,
I'm
the
very
book.
good at the fake it till you make it on the introvert side because people are like, I
Love it.
don't believe you. And I'm like, yeah, you should see me. Like, I'd rather speak on the stage in front of hundreds or thousands of people, like do this for 90 minutes, than you have to go network with 20 people you don't know for 90 minutes. Like that, I would much rather be on the stage than have to make small
It's so
talk.
much easier. It's so much
Yes.
easier. I just talk.
Yeah.
I don't have to listen. Listen,
Yes.
Yeah.
by the way,
Exactly.
I said in the beginning that introversion and extroversion, it's an energy thing, right? People don't
Yeah.
get this. I can talk for 2 hours from a stage. Conversations, I'm good for maybe 60 minutes, and I got to go be alone and recharge before I come back. People don't get that.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. It's interesting with regards to the introversion, right? I've learned that getting, it initially it was hard to create conversations because I felt like I didn't have a lot to say. So reading books and being others focused and interested in other people helped me a lot. But I'll just say one thing regarding networking, and not that we have probably different perspectives, not contrary opinions, but I go networking and I get a whole bunch of connections, cards. And to me, I found that the secret is in the follow up. And so for me, that took the pressure off of trying to find those 3 or 4 great connections because sometimes you don't know. And I also didn't want to be too focused on somebody in the room. And then somebody was even a better connection in the long run, and I was missing that person. So I figured, let me collect as much of cards as possible, not be weird, not just going there, and I'm not giving out cards. I'm getting contact information so that we can have a follow up. And to me, that was it. The secret was in the follow up. But anyway, and that's just my perspective. But I want to just shift gears here a little bit, not really, but just kind of progress this to maximize, right? So let's talk about how to maximize. So community, type in hashtag maximize. How can someone make the most out of every networking opportunity they have? It kind of relates to what we're speaking about.
Yeah. So in the book, it is 4.5 networking mistakes plus 19 networking nuggets, what to do before, during, and after the networking event, plus 4 little tips on how to deal with networking nervousness. So the one I want to talk about that answers your question is networking nugget number 3, which is create a goal. So for every networking event I go to, I want to create a goal for how many people that I want to meet. Are these prospects? Are these potential referral sources? Am I there to try and find connections or potential referrals for the people in my network? Most people, when they go to networking event, the goal is like, how much free food and booze can I get? How long do I have to stay here? And really, that's not conducive to making the most of it. There was this networking event many years ago here in the Tampa area, and it was like late at night for me. I am one of those 5 a.m. people, very happy. It was like 6 to 7 is open networking, and then 7 to 10 was like the stage time, and they had amazing presenters. Too late for me. I would go for like 6 to 6:30, 6 to 6:45, complete all of the goals that I set for myself, and then I would bounce out. And so for me, it wasn't about the quantity of time that I was spending. It was about getting done what I had set for the goal. Now, talking to Steve about the follow-up, one of the key components for me in making sure I have the time to follow up is when I schedule the networking event in my calendar, I also schedule the follow-up time in my calendar a day or 2 later. That way it doesn't get to the point of, oh, I don't have time to do the follow-up. Because if you do networking and you do everything else right and you skip the follow-up, like, why did you even bother doing the networking in the first place? And as introverts, I don't want to spend my time doing something that's not going to get me results, especially if it's uncomfortable. Now, we want to binge Star Wars or Star Trek all weekend. I'm totally game with that, and I don't have to have a goal beyond let's just watch it. However, if I'm going to go to the networking event, pay money to be in the room with the right people, I want to make sure I'm getting the results.
So, my networking journey. So I spent over 25 years in corporate before I went full time in business. And the middle of 2019, I left corporate and I already had a business going because I built it while I was there, knowing I would leave. And so I knew that the fastest way, like you said earlier on, small business owner, you're new in business, there's no advertising budget. There's no budget at all. In fact, you're just trying to keep the stinking lights on, right? So I knew one thing, networking was the fastest way to business. And it's true. And I never really truly business network before. I mean, I had learned some things on the side. I'd learned ways to do it, but I was so awkward. I couldn't get past myself. So by the time I went full time in my own business, I really learned a lot. And so I went into networking, and I did know one thing that most people, I think you're getting at, is you were very strategic. You knew what you were looking to accomplish, Tiffany. And I think that's what people are lacking. I see them go in the rooms all the time, and they clearly don't know why they're there. Yeah. So what is, like, for somebody who's clueless and doesn't know why they're there, what's the first step they could take to understanding why they're even there?
So I think that when we're evaluating, do I want to go to this networking event? I want to think about A, is my target market, are my ideal clients there? Or B, are my ideal referral sources there? The non-competing industry with the same target market. And I say A or B because I'm okay if one or the other is there, but if neither are there, why are you even going? If both are there, bonus, sign up and go often and frequently. But I think it's a big thing about, why am I going to this event? What is it that I want to create? And sometimes it's meeting new people. However, it should never be, I want to go to get clients. Because here's the thing. So let me ask you, gentlemen, how often do you go to networking events with your checkbook or your credit card ready to buy from people?
About 0 to never.
And I'll have to stop saying checkbook soon, because we're getting past that. However, people go to networking events with the intention of selling. And so we call that the networking disconnect, because it's like we've got two different objectives. And so to me, it's about, who are the people that I can meet? What are the connections that I can make? And if I answer those questions before I go to the event, I'm making sure it's the right event for me. I think sometimes people are like, oh, here's a great event. Is it great for me, though?
I mean, one comment before Steve moves on. I'm going to say this. If we just think of ourselves for 1 second and go, I will not buy anything from anybody at a networking event when I first meet them. So why on earth would we think the other people can do that for us? That's all.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. Great point. And listen, first of all, nobody likes to be sold anyway, right? No. And so to me, it's about starting at the beginnings of relationship. And the other piece that I think we miss is people thinking, I'm going to go to a networking and I'm going to create relationships. No, you're going to start relationships. You're not, you could spend, and I've seen people who are a little skittish about networking. They'll spend almost a full hour with somebody, and they're convincing themselves they're creating a relationship, but they're really just hiding from work in the room, So that's just my take on it. But I want to kind of move on here. So with talk about experts, right? So #experts community. So just to dig into this a little bit. And that is, and we're going to get to the next one is going to be on the networking mistakes, right? So, but we'll skip into experts first. Then it's a cliffhanger here. Okay, get ready. But experts, what are so-called expert tips that actually lead people into the wrong direction?
Yeah, and I hate to say these are the mistakes, but I mean, literally, the book is 4.5 networking mistakes. So it's not that, this is what most people are telling you to do. And so sometimes I feel like I wasn't trying to make them wrong. I just think there's a better way to do it. And so if we think about the things that the experts are always telling us to do, are we ready for the mistakes? Because this is the perfect segue.
Sure,
are y'all ready for mistakes? Y'all # mistakes. Let's see if we've made any of these. And this is usually where I did the disclaimer. I have made all of these mistakes. It's okay. We're just learning a better way to do it. And so one of the mistakes, so I'm going to flip over to number 3 to get us started first. And that has to do with the elevator pitch.
Uh-oh.
Everybody's like, get your elevator pitch ready. But if you think about an elevator pitch, the whole point was you got 30 to 60 seconds to pitch your product or service. If we're not at a networking event to sell, why would we want to pitch? And so I use a technique called a funneling conversation, which is 20 to 30 minute conversation just by itself. Essentially, though, when you're talking to people, instead of saying, here's what I do, verbal vomit all over there, I ask a couple questions. So Steve, I'm going to ask you to come back up and play with me so I can give an example of this, y'all. So Steve, we're meeting at a networking event. I asked Steve what he does, and he tells me, hey, Steve, what do you do?
Well, I'm going to play along here, but they call me the master connector. But I really speak on stages on how to really break through barriers and help people to create real human connection.
Awesome. Awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah. What about yourself? What about you? What do you
Funny
do?
you should ask me. Y'all notice how I paused waiting because the natural thing is to do. And so when he does that, I'm like, so Steve, I work with entrepreneurs to help them have more money, more time, and more fun.
Well, how the heck do you do that?
So let me ask you, Steve, are you looking to grow your business?
Who isn't?
You know, sometimes people are trying to retire. I do live in Florida. It happens, but you are so great. Do you like referrals?
Of course.
And if I could help you double, triple the referrals that you get to get on stage, would that be of interest to you?
Sign me up all day long.
Yeah. So I work with speakers just like you to help them grow their business by referral so they can have more money, more time, more fun. And then from there, I go into the conversation and give him more details. Now, if at any point in time Steve had said no, that's just telling me he is not a good fit because he's not a good prospect for me. And so when I'm doing that at the networking event, it's very easy, takes less than 30 seconds. People don't even know that you're doing it, but I've determined, are you a prospect for me or not?
Love that. Love that. That's great.
You know, there's a part of that, Tiffany, and I'm wondering this honestly, because, you know, I mean, I made a lot of mistakes too and continue to do so. But when you say Steve may not be a prospect if he said no, I have found, and correct me if I'm wrong, if this is only my experience, that sometimes when I take an approach that leads people to see if they're the right prospect, that it's a timing thing, because sometimes people are like, I don't understand why they're not hiring me. They clearly need my services, people would say to me. And I would go, it may not be you. They may not be ready. Is that part of it, or am I just?
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it because, and I've had massive journeys in my life, whether it's health related or mindset related or business related. I remember one time I went to a program and I did it, had my notes. I repeated the same program 6 months later and I left pissed. I'm like, why the heck? I did not use that word. It was in my head. Did they not tell me this the first time? I was pissed. And I go back and I'm looking at my notes in my own handwriting. They had told it and I had written it down, just wasn't ready for it yet.
Yep.
And so there are definitely people out there that may definitely need what we do. But if they're not ready for it yet, by the time you convince them that, oh, here's what's wrong with you, this is why you need me, they're not going to be happy with you. And do you really want somebody to come work with you that's going to suck all the energy out of you and bring you down?
There you
Absolutely.
go. Awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I think at some point you're going to tell us some of the other 3.5 ones.
Yes.
But I want to. So I'll throw this in there, and you could, kind of weave in some of that connections. So hashtag connections community. How can you turn surface level conversations into meaningful and lasting connections? Because that's what this show is about. It's all about connection, creating community, all that.
So I'm going to answer this question, but y'all that are waiting, where's the half networking mistake? I'm going to give you 4 and then I'm going to go back to 1 and give it to you. So you'll get it. If you're like, that's why I'm here, Tiffany. So the 4th networking mistake is thinking that networking is going to be enough. Just meeting somebody at a networking event and seeing them on a weekly or monthly basis, it ain't enough. You're going to have to develop some relationships. And so to me, it's not about just networking. I go networking to see, out of all of those people in the room, who do I want to book a meeting from the meeting with? Now, it could be a prospect.
That, Rob.
Those really referral stories. You've heard that book a meeting from the meeting before? Yeah, I picked it up from a guy from New England. I don't know if it's the same guy or not, but yes, we want to book a meeting from the meeting. And that's when we work on kind of, it's a two-sided coin. I need to educate these people on who I am, what I do, why I do it, how to refer me. And I need to motivate them, passing them referrals, offering incentives, booking them speaking engagements, hanging out, supporting them. I need to educate and motivate them together. And that's where we get going with this whole building the referral relationship. Now, I know there's a freebie I'm going to tell y'all about later, which is why I ain't getting referrals. And there's actually 5 reasons you're not getting referrals. And so it goes more into this. We talk more about the educate and motivate. So y'all will get that free a little bit later. And that can help you in generating the referrals.
Awesome. That's great. All right. So, yeah, go ahead. Keep going, please.
No, I was going to say, are we ready for the 1.5?
Yeah, we're more than ready.
You're killing me here.
Elevating here.
All right. So the very first of the networking mistake says, don't only give out business cards if you're asked for them, because everybody is telling you, meet somebody, give them business cards, meet somebody, give them business cards. I call that in-person spamming. We don't like it online. We don't like it in person. Yeah. So, and one time I did this, somebody came up and just put a card in my hand, and y'all, if you want to play, because I need games, that's how I do networking. I gamify it because it's uncomfortable for the introvert. So if people give me a card without me asking, I'm like, thanks so much. What would you like me to do with this? And the look on their face, the first time I did it was very organic. I didn't even mean to, but like I do this as a keynote presentation. And sometimes people will, even when I say this, they'll come up to me afterwards and like, here's the card. And I'm like, so it's kind of fun. What do you want me to do with this? Because I'm just asking. People give it. This is Steve is another thing they're not intentional about. They're like, I'm at an event. The expert tells, give them a card. That doesn't mean I don't ever want you to give cards. You can ask people, hey, can I get one of your cards? And hopefully in return, they'll ask for one of yours.
You know, I have a quick story here, Tiff. I got to jump in because this is what Tiffany's talking about here. This will kill your business. I was brand new in networking. I was only doing it for about 2 months at the time. I'm at an event and it's the kind of the end of the night, you know, and I've mingled with people. I'm getting to know people. I'm sitting at a table, finishing some food. A guy walks over. He goes, like, I'm at a table with 6 other people. He looks at me. I've never met him before. He hands me his card and goes, hey, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm leaving. Just wanted to give you my card. Did you know it's 5 years later? I refused to ever give that guy business or referral at the time of day. And he's a nice guy. I know who he is to this day. I refused to ever send business because he left such a bad taste in my mouth. That one simple act he did blew it.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Crazy. Yeah. Do you have any more, Tiffany?
So the half mistake goes along with this one.
All right.
And we'll have to leave y'all wanting number 2. But for the half mistake, this is a half mistake because only half of the experts are telling you to do this. This isn't something that everybody says. However, it is not only give out a business card when you first meet someone, give a multitude of business cards. That way the person can keep one for themselves and pass it on. Who do you meet for the very first time that you're referring? Like 99.9% of the time, it's not going to happen. Now, if you are in a random profession, for example, I have met one professional sandcastle builder in my entire life. He's the only one in my network. So if somebody ever said I need a professional sandcastle builder, I need more in my network, apparently. However, most people in networking, you may think you're different than everybody else and you do something differently, but we know others that do what you do. So don't give a multitude of business cards. Give them one when and if they ask for it. If they have somebody they want to pass your information along to, they will ask for more cards. Or if they're like me nowadays, I get the card in, I do whatever I need to do here at my desk, and then I can pass it on, which probably I'd still take a picture to pass it on, even if I was going to do that. So mistake number 1, only give out cards when you're asked and only give out one. That's our half mistake for those of you that have been waiting. So give me a hashtag if you're like super excited. We got the half in.
Well, I know you have something you want to add value to our community. So could you tell us a little bit about what you want to offer up?
Yeah. So we have Why Ain't You Getting Referrals? It's 5 steps to help you generate referrals. It talks a little bit about the educate and motivate, as well as 3 other steps that I touched on earlier. If you go to bit.ly/why ain't, no apostrophe, no caps, just why ain't. And that's a free little gift for y'all today.
And in the comments, thanks to Robbie G. But hey, and the best way for our community to reach you, this has been an incredible conversation.
So I am happy to be in that first generation of social media. So if you go to TiffanyKellog.com, if you go to @TiffanyKellog on Facebook, LinkedIn, I'm not on Insta much, but it's there, @TiffanyKellog, TiffanyKellog, you will be able to find me on the main platforms. And I'm Tiffany @TiffanyKellog.com for my email. Make it easy.
We appreciate you. Really brought it today. So thank you. Appreciate you. We'll see you soon. Thanks for being a blessing to our community.
Thank you so much, Steve and Rob.
All right. Oops. All right. Here we go. All right. So next week, just as amazing, will be our triennial. I don't know what you would call it. I don't know. Whatever. Biannual. I don't know. 200 episode coming up. Wednesday, the 26th. It's going to be Unlock the Power of Yes with Ezio Sabatino. That's going to be great. Don't miss it. And we're going to have a special cameo. So for those loyal, Yolanda, somebody affiliated with the show, is going to be a little cameo on there. So stay tuned. And to learn more, go to masterconnector.show. You can see up and coming shows, topics like Rob said. And if you're interested in being a sponsor, make sure to go to that same masterconnector.show. But we're excited and we appreciate you being here. Want to close with a closing thought here, right? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? Struggled in his early career, facing rejection in both football and wrestling. Instead of giving up, he leveraged connections with the wrestling industry, including his family's legacy, to get a shot at the WWE. Through networking, mentorship, and building strong relationships, he transitioned into Hollywood, becoming one of the highest paid actors in the world, right? Folks, let's continue to grow our connections, build meaningful relationships, and grow our success so ultimately we can inspire others and thereby shine our light. God bless. We'll see you next week.
And you start to hear some of their challenges. And yes,
because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives